Oh, hey, what's up, you guys? How's it going? It's Papa, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my updated True DRACO deck that I will be playing for the current format. It's basically just what I had come up with prior to the ban list. I had a list in mind for if certain cards came off the list. Those cards didn't come off the list, so I just swapped it out for a couple of different cards instead. And I'm sure we're all upset about the ban list. I'm sure we're all upset with some of the choices that they decided to do. Ronin Tonin, for example. But I still think this deck can definitely steal some games. It can definitely have a good matchup against a lot of other decks in the format, and it plays a lot of really bad cards. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the main deck, of course, we do have the newly at 3 Dynamite Knight, the True DRACO Fighter. So you had to play 3 of this. This card is definitely the best monster in the deck, especially since we don't have Masterpiece yet. So basically what it does, it gets you a trap card, and it's the highest attack out of all of them as well. This card's really broken, so you need to play it at 3, especially now that we have 3. So 3 copies of Ignis Heat. Same reasoning, this card's really busted. It gets you your spell. It's definitely the second best monster, and of course the 2 Maiden. Basically, you don't need to max out on this one because this gets you to any of these, but 2 is fine. I don't really see the need of playing 3. I think 3 is too much, but that's going to do it for the monster lineup. Just the 6 monsters. I don't really think you need any more or anything less. I mean, Masterpiece would be nice, but we don't have that. For the spell lineup, we play 1 copy of Terraforming to search out our 1 copy of Dragonic Diagram. Shouldn't come as a surprise. Diagram being definitely the best spell in the deck. But on top of Diagram, we are still playing 3 copies of Mystic Mine because for some reason, Konami thought that this card did not need to be banned, so now we have other field spell. It's definitely not the field spell of choice that I would have liked. I would have preferred that we switch these out for 2 more copies of Diagram, but we don't get that. But in reality, all seriousness aside, or all jokes aside, basically Mystic Mine just helps this deck be able to just grind out, get you to whatever you need. If you draw this going second, it definitely helps you going against like a big tier element board. It's a really great card. For this reasoning, but for the most part, I just really wish this card would rot in hell. For the rest of the spells, we of course play the 3 copies of Heritage and 3 copies of Disciples. I still feel like you need to max out on these. Disciples being like the only one that's like iffy, but I definitely think like this card is fine to just still play at 3. And then we play a little bit of consistency. We play the 3 copies of Duality, of course, because it's a normal summon based deck, so you might as well just play the 3 copies of Duality. And then I'm also playing 2 copies of Pot of Desires. If this card was at 3, I would probably consider playing 3 and just maxing out the Majesty Maiden. But since it's at 2, we're just going to opt to play 2. It just adds like a little bit of consistency. I mean, it's a 40 card deck. There's no extra deck or anything. It's a very, very, very easy deck to play. Shouldn't have to explain too much. But that's it for the spells. Traps, we of course have to play some Floodgates. So we play 3 copies of Rivalry because for some reason this card is also still in the format. 3 copies of There Can Be Only One. Same reasoning, this card's still in the format, so we definitely just max out on like all the really good Floodgates for that reasoning. These 6 are really, really busted in the deck, and it makes it to where like if you need to side any of them out, you can just side out the 3rd copy of each. But really, really good stuff. And then the no fun cards, 3 copies of Skill Drain, just more Floodgates. 2 copies of Monarchs of Wrath, because we're not playing an extra deck, but I still feel like you just only need 2 of it because we do have 3 Skill Drain. Back in the day, you could get away with playing back in the day you could get away with playing 3 of this, but since Skill Drain's at 3 now, you only need the 2. It's perfectly fine like that. And then lastly, to round off the deck, we are playing 3 copies of Apocalypse and 2 copies of True King's Return. But that's really gonna be it for the list. I mean, I don't really think you need 3 copies of Return. Granted, we are playing Desires, but with Dynamite, like the thing is like the more Dynamite came off the list, like when it came to 2, you definitely didn't need 3 of these, and now that it's at 3, you definitely don't need 3. Mainly because like you could just keep you can activate it from the deck. It has like really good recursion with Disciples. You definitely don't need to max out on True King's Return because it is the worst one to draw out of all the DRACO spells and traps. But yeah, that's really it. I'm not going to make this video any longer than it has to be. This was just like my first draft of the DRACO deck for the format. It's one of my favorite decks. I'm definitely putting the helmet on pretty tight here, but I do like this deck a lot, and I really do have potential for this deck. I just really hope that we get to have this deck back at full power one day, and I'm not going to give up until we do. So until next time, guys, this has been Papa. Let me know what you guys want to see like in the future of all my previous decks. I will update decks throughout the next couple weeks. And until next time, guys, this has been Papa, and I will catch you all in my next video. Take care, everyone.